Hello, my name is Dr. Thomas F. Scotton, and I've created a novel comparing the lives of Stevie Wonder and Blind Tom. It's called Two Hands, Two Centuries, the parallel lives of Blind Tom Wiggins and Stevie Wonder. What I've done is I've taken the liberty of creating a scene that could go into a Netflix scene or series. It's a powerful dream sequence where Tom and Stevie meet in the liminal space between life and death. This was during Stevie's 1973 coma after his near fatal car accident. The setting is a mystical in between space where time collapses, allowing them to meet. The meeting, two blind men recognizing each other through voice and touch, bridging 65 years. The duet, they played the piano together. Tom's 19th century composition meeting Stevie's 20th century innovations. The sorrow, Stevie confronts what Tom could have been if he had been free. The legacy, Tom reveals that he lives on through the note that Stevie plays. And the promise, Stevie vows to finish the song Tom never got to complete. And the return, the music calls Stevie back to life, giving him purpose to survive. Now, this scene would work beautifully as a pivotal moment in either the novel or a Netflix series, a supernatural encounter that makes the thematic connection between their lives literal and deeply emotional. It's the moment where the parallel narrative becomes a direct conversation across time. The dream. This is a scene from Two Hands, Two Centuries. August the 7th, 1973, Durham, North Carolina. Stevie Wonder lay in a hospital bed, his head wrapped in bandages, his body still breathing shallow. The log had crashed through the windshield the day before, striking him with such force that the doctors had feared the worst. He had been in a coma for nearly 24 hours. His mother sat beside him, holding his hand, praying. The machines beeped their steady rhythm and counting the seconds, measuring the distance between life and death. Inside the darkness of his unconscious mind, Stevie was somewhere else entirely. He was standing in a room he had never been in before. Yet somehow it felt similar. The air was different. Here, not the sterile, antiseptic smell of a hospital, but something older, mustier, tinged with wood smoke and the faint scene of magnolia blossoms. He could hear the distant sound of a train, the clip-clop of horse hooves on cobblestone, the murmur of voices speaking, and accents he recognized from his grandmother's story about the South. Where am I? He said aloud, his voice echoing in the space. You in between, a voice answered. It was a man's voice, soft and melodic, with a slight stutter, as if the speaker was not used to conversation. Between the world you know and the world you don't, between the now and the then. Stevie turned toward the voice. Who are you? My name is Thomas, the voice said, but most folks call me Tom, Blind Tom. Stevie's breath caught. He knew that name. He had heard it whispered in music history classes, mentioned in passing by older musicians. The first the pioneer, the one who came before. Tom Wiggins? Stevie asked, his voice barely a whisper. That's right, Tom said. Thomas Green Wiggins, born 1849, died 1908. Though, I suppose died ain't quite the right word if I'm here talking to you. Stevie moved toward the voice, his hands outstretched, his fingers found fabric, rough worn cotton, the kind of clothes a working man would wear, and then a hand calloused and strong, gripping his own. I know you, Tom said. There was a wonder in his voice. I heard you in the in between places, in the spaces where the music lives. I heard you. Superstition, higher ground, living for the city. I heard every note. You've been listening? Stevie asked, his voice thick with emotion. I've been listening since the day I died, Tom said. Listening to all of them. Blind Lemon, Blind Willie, Ray Charles, and you, especially you. You, the one who finished what I started. You, the one who got free. They stood there, two blind men, in a space that was neither here nor there, neither then nor now. And then, as if drawn by the same magnetic force that had pulled them both to music, they moved toward the sound they both heard, the deep, resonant hum of a piano. It was a magnificent instrument, a grand piano that seemed to glow with its own inner light, though neither of them could see it. They could feel it, though, the way it pulled at them, the way it called them. Shall we? Tom asked. And there was a shyness in his voice, a hesitation, as if he was asking permission to do the thing he loved most in the world. Yeah, Stevie said, his voice breaking. Yeah, let's play. They sat side by side on the bench, their shoulders touching. Tom's hand found the keys first, his fingers moving with the muscle memory of a lifetime, a performance. He began to play one of his own compositions, The Battle of Manassas, a piece that repeated the sounds of the Civil War, the thunder of cannons, the cries of soldiers, the mournful bugle calls. It was wild and chaotic and heartbreakingly beautiful. Stevie listened, his head tilted, absorbing every note. And then, without thinking, his hands joined Tom's on the keys. He began to weave in a counter melody, a modern harmony, the sound of a Fender Rhodes and a Moog synthesizer translated into acoustic piano. He took Tom's 19th century battle and brought it into the 20th century, adding the funk, the soul, the gospel that was his birthright. Tom laughed, a sound of pure, unfiltered joy. That's it. That's it. You hear it. You hear what I was trying to say. I hear it, brother, Stevie said, tears streaming down his face. I hear you. They played together, their four hands moving across the keys, and a conversation that transcended time, that bridged the centuries between them. Tom showed Stevie the proto-jazz improvisations that had confused and frightened his white audiences, the syncopated rhythms that were decades ahead of their time. Stevie showed Tom the synthesizers, the multi-track recordings, the sonic possibilities that technology had unlocked. This is what you could have done, Stevie said, his voice choked with sorrow. If you'd been free, if they hadn't stolen your life. Tom's hands stilled on the keys. Maybe, he said quietly, or maybe this is what I did too. Maybe every note you play, every song you write, every time you stand up and fight for what's right, maybe that's me too. Maybe I'm in there, in the music, in the struggle. Maybe I ain't as gone as they thought. You're not gone, Stevie said fiercely. You're right here. And every black musician who ever sat down at a piano, and every blind kid who ever picked up an instrument, every artist who ever fought for control of their own work, you're here. Tom reached out and placed his hand on Stevie's shoulder. You got to go back, he said gently. Your mama's crying. Your friends are praying. You got more music to make. You got more fights to win. You got to finish the song. I don't want to leave you here alone, Stevie said. I ain't alone, Tom said. And there was a smile in his voice. I got the music. I always had the music. And now I got something else too. I got you. I got the knowledge that it wasn't all for nothing, that somebody heard me, that somebody understood. I heard you, Stevie said. I understood. Then go, Tom said. Go back and live the life I never got to live. Go back and be free. And every time you sit down at that piano, every time your hands touch those keys, remember, you ain't playing alone. I'm there with you. All of us there are there. All the ones who came before, all the ones who paid the price, we're all there in the music. The room began to fade, the piano dissolving into light and sound. Stevie felt himself being pulled backwards, away from Tom, away from the in-between place. Tom, he called out. Tom, wait. Play, Stevie. Tom's voice echoed, growing fainter. Play for both of us. Play for all of us. Play the songs we never got to finish. I will, Stevie promised, his voice a sob. I will. I promise. August the 7th, 1973, Durham, North Carolina. In the hospital room, Lula Mae Hardway gasped, gasped as her son's fingers began to move, tapping out a rhythm on the bed rail. His lips moved, forming words she couldn't quite hear. And then his eyes, those unseen eyes that had been closed for so long, fluttered open. Mama, he whispered. I'm here, baby, she said, her tears falling on his hand. I'm here. I had a dream, Stevie said, his voice weak but clear. I met him, Mama. I met Blind Tom. We played together. Shh, she said, smoothing his hair. Rest now. You need rest. No, he said, and there was an urgency in his voice. I need to play. I need to get back to the piano. I made a promise. And in that moment, Lula Mae knew her son was going to survive because the music was calling him back. The music and a promise made to a man who had been dead for 65 years. A promise to finish the song, to live the life that had been stolen, to be free. Epilogue to the dream. 3 months later, Stevie Wonder released Fulfilling His First Finality, an album that many critics would call his most spiritually profound work. In the liner notes and the small print that most people never read, there was a dedication. For all the ones who came before, for all the ones who never got to finish this song, this is for you. And if you listen closely, very closely, to the piano on They Won't Go When I Go, you could almost hear it. a second set of hands, a ghost in the keys, a voice from the past joining the present, finishing the song at last. The end.